It's showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
And a fine Saturday matinee to you, Steve Sarmento.
Good morning, Pete Wright.
You sound less awake than you usually do.
I don't know.
Did you just roll out of bed?
No. I've been up for a bit. It's just, I don't know. It's one of those Saturdays. It was a busy week.
It is. It sounds dark where you are right
It
now.
sounds
I know that,
dark.
It sounds dark. It sounds like you're trying to keep people from waking up.
No, I think one of them is up and about, and yeah, I don't know. I'm recording in a different room. Maybe the room tone is different.
Maybe
so
that's
may be
it. That's perfect. Oh, I like that. Yeah. Sounds all muted.
Okay.
Like you're in a closet. That's perfect. Perfect podcasting location.
Yes, I built a little tiny secluded room.
Yeah.
Yes, and then when I'm done, I put the lotion in the basket, and then they let me out.
That's right. What do you think about this FilmStruck thing?
Oh, it saddens me for multiple reasons. One, I was considering, maybe it was about time to add that to the list of services that I was subscribing to. I was disappointed.
I think that was actually in their cancellation press release, that if only Steve Sarmento had signed, it would have pushed us over the edge.
Well, the issue,
Criterion
Criterion used to be part of Hulu, and then they left to be part of FilmStruck, and which that was fine. I was like, okay, FilmStruck was built as a particular type of streaming service for a particular set of film fans. And then what really irritated me in the article I read, they said, oh, well, FilmStruck was for a very niche audience. I'm like, well, you made it that way. So,
yeah, right.
So don't say, oh, well, it just wasn't, taking off. Well, you made it like custom built for this, particular set of film fans. So don't use that as an excuse. Now, I hope as they pull that back that they'll continue to maybe roll that into a larger service. Everything that was in FilmStruck and all the Criterion will be in whatever they do decide to launch, because there are so many films that are really difficult to find, and that's what I was looking forward to FilmStruck. I said it's not something I'm going to watch with the frequency that I do Netflix and Hulu, but there's a lot of stuff in there that when the mood strikes, that's the film I want to watch. That's going to be the place I'm going to go to get it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's exactly that was exactly my place, and especially for some of the movies we do on this show, some of those movies are hard to find, and FilmStruck was the place to find them. So it's frustrating and short lived, and I just don't have a whole lot of faith in Time Warner's strategy for 2019 streaming service that's going to fill all those holes. I think they I don't have a lot of faith in Time Warner as a film friendly service.
Yeah.
And so that's really frustrating. That's really frustrating. So, it is officially what it is.
Well, what I found interesting in the article that I read was that, they sort of tracked studios' responses to things like Netflix, where it was like, oh yeah, that's not going to become a thing. Oh, it is a thing. Well, let's sell chunks of our catalog to them. We can make some money on this stuff. And then, oh crap, they're pushing us out of a market that we didn't know we needed to be part of. So now we're going to take our stuff back and we're going to try and launch our own. Which now you're going to have, all these studios are trying to compete with their own streaming services, and it's like it reminds me of the whole like Netflix Blockbuster thing of, you didn't take them seriously, you're now trying to get in there, and it's probably too late. They own that, the whole DVD by mail thing. There's a really good book called Netflix about that whole thing and how Blockbuster basically shot itself in the foot trying to take on Netflix. And I know a lot of these, studios have a lot more money to throw around, but it's not just about money. It's not just about, access. There's so many things about sort of, I guess, cultivating your catalog and your identity. And Netflix has always been like, hey, we're the place to go. And so what can any of these studios do? Time Warner, Paramount, any of these what are they going to do? Say, oh well, here's our movies.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right. And
what,
well, the difference here with Time Warner is that Time Warner is also a transmission.
yes. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Has the means of transmission, and so this is where it has a potential to get pretty ugly. Like we'd love to have a fantastic and robust digital service of all the content that we own if you're a customer.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And that's a scary potential future, and international release too. Like I think there were I don't know how FilmStruck what FilmStruck's angle was for outside of the United States. Was it a big international player? Was it something that friends in other countries could access?
Oh yeah, I doubt it.
That's pretty safe. That is a pretty safe response. Anyway,
I guess Disney's getting geared up to launch theirs, and to me that's the one that I think will be interesting to see, because they have the range and scope of a lot of content that they own that audiences are going to show up for. When you say and I guess that's it. That's the branding piece. It's like, oh, it's Time Warner.
They're the pop culture player.
Yeah, people know what a Disney is. They know they're going to get the Marvel stuff. They know they're going to get everything that they own. When Time Warner launches, it's like, okay, which movies are you again? Because people don't pay attention to that. They've seen the logos.
Time Warner it's more associated with customer service troubles.
But they can name it. But then you say, oh, it's the Warner Brothers catalog. I'm like, okay.
Oh,
I don't know.
Yeah,
I know Disney. I know what I can get there, but they've never branded like, oh, I know Casablanca is going to be there because I know they own that versus Paramount or Universal. No, nobody knows which studio owns which, because everything's been marketed about the actors. If it was the Tom Cruise, streaming channel, then people would be like, oh yeah, I know what I can get there.
Well, and we're looking at Warner Brothers movies. We're looking at DC.
Yeah.
Are you team? And those are their big current blockbusters. You know what I mean? Like, and so that's.
But yeah, I would challenge challenge these studios to go out to the general public and whatever their top franchises and throw a list of franchises and say, oh, okay, Lord of the Rings, Mission Impossible, Star Trek. Do you know which studios these are? No, nobody cares. Because that's not where they're going. To me, that's the big barrier that I think they're going to have to overcome, is I create an identity associated with that content, because it hasn't happened.
Now, they do have Harry Potter.
Yeah.
They do have Harry Potter.
They do. Sure. But do people know that? Maybe.
They've got the Meg, Steve. They've got the Meg.
Sure. Okay.
What about Rampage? They've got Rampage, Steve. They've got Rampage and the Meg. Rampage and the Meg.
Okay, that's so.
The entire service is going to be branded around.
It's going to be branded around movies for your son. There you go. Right, and Geostorm, right? Do they have Geostorm?
Do they have?
I don't.
Geostorm?
I don't know.
Probably.
I don't.
You know what? Probably. I'm looking that up. They do. They do have Geostorm. And in fact, that was released between Blade Runner 2049 and Justice League.
Oh.
Just so we know. And then the Disaster Artist. It's not as if they don't have a catalog. I feel like we're dismissing the Warner Brothers catalog a little bit.
They do, but they don't have an identity where people say,
they don't have
that type of movie.
Singular identity.
Disney, it's like, you've got family-friendly stuff, these classic properties and characters, but people just don't identify a studio with a particular thing. Maybe they'll start leveraging DC to whatever success, and then Harry Potter and whatever other content that they have that I don't know about, because I don't pay attention to studios. So
there is a comprehensive list on, of course, Wikipedia, which they're probably trying to acquire.
Yeah.
But it's a substantial list, and I am surprising myself here with the number of movies that I forgot were originally Warner properties. It's obviously a massive bank to go back to. But it's a interesting comment. The Steam Robot, Steven Spart says in our chat, I wonder how popular the Amazon channels are, right? MGM.
Yeah.
The Amazon channels, there's another company that just seems to have money to burn in this regard. And they seem to be playing the Netflix game of just throw money at a problem.
Yeah.
You want content? Throw money at the problem. and they've got some interesting things going on there. And I dismiss Amazon. It's always the last place I go when I can't find a movie, but
Yeah, it is.
I'm often surprised that it's the place that has the movie that I want to watch.
Yes, I'm in the same boat. I'm like, oh, they have that, and they have that, and yeah, on Amazon Prime. And I just watched the first episode of the what's the John Krasinski, Jack Ryan.
Yeah.
Watched the first episode of that and thought, yeah, okay. This is, as far as original content, I will stick around and probably finish off that season and see where things go. And I have not been lured into a lot of the other, shows that Amazon has done. And again, because it's usually not my priority to go to, but I think they're starting to become a player. It's sort of what I saw happen with Hulu, where their original content was like there was nothing, and then all of a sudden they started bringing some A game, and I remember there was a chunk of movies that suddenly disappeared from Netflix and showed up on Hulu, and I was like, they are now negotiating some deals for content. So yeah, we'll see Amazon get there.
Well, there's that and Apple. I mean, the reports of Apple investing heavily in original content original content that is family friendly.
Yeah,
let's say.
Yes.
So if anything, they're talking. The rumors are that Apple's going to be spending Netflix money by 2020 for original content on the Apple TV.
Well, that and speaking of money to burn, I mean, Apple's got that, and that's the interesting, situation I see with Apple and Amazon. They have other revenue streams that they can leverage. Like, okay, well, we're selling a ridiculous amount of iPads this year. Great, that's money that can go into developing content. Netflix depends solely on its subscribers. And you hit a certain saturation point. It's like, doesn't matter if you've got, 8 million subscribers and some are watching every single day. It has nothing to do with eyeballs, any of that stuff. It's like they could have 8 million subscribers that watch, 10 hours a week or 100 hours a week. It's not changing their revenue. So their only thing is to get more subscribers, and they'll hit a saturation point, and then I don't know what they'll do. They have no other way to. Now, I think I've seen they've taken some of their original content. You can buy like Stranger Things on Blu-ray and DVD. So there's some other, pieces out there, but not significant enough that I could see them saying, oh, we've got another, pot of cash that we can be drawing from. So,
well, I think they kind of have to, right? I mean, so many of the rules around, awards in the first place, right? I mean, they have to play in the other channels in order to be in order to be recognized, and I think that's an interesting thing for Netflix, and and Amazon that they suddenly have theatrical release dates, and then they have they have ways to get their content that is not just on their service. Can you get Stranger Things? If you can get it on Blu-ray, can you get it in like the iTunes store? Have you checked?
I don't think so. I don't know. I haven't checked, but I don't think so.
No, yeah, it doesn't look like it's available.
Yeah. So speaking of Netflix making their content available, sort of theatrically, that's going to take us into trailers, and it's going to take us to my trailer.
Yes, it is,
because it's a Netflix that's doing. This is always really interesting because they did this. They've done this a couple times. This one, I think, will be interesting to watch because it's coming out December 21st, in select theaters and on Netflix. So, but this is one that I can see audiences showing up in theaters to see this. And what I'm talking about is the latest film with we've got Sandra. It's like a little reunion here from Ocean's 8, right? Because we've got Sarah Paulson and Sandra Bullock, and this is Bird Box. And I believe we talked about this in the back channels when we were having discussions about A Quiet Place, because this is sort of like, instead of a hearing thing, it's a vision thing. So you've got some strange things going on, and you have to be blindfolded. And otherwise the monsters get you. They make you see horrible things. People are, dying because of the things they're seeing. And so we've got a world where people have to move around blindfolded, so they depend on their hearing. So it's sort of different shift. And this is based on a novel by Josh Mallerman. And what really caught my eye when I was watching this trailer was said like Academy Award winning director Suzanne Bier. I thought, there's not that many women that have won Oscars. Wait a second, what is this? And I know this name, but it's Best Foreign Picture, and that was the name is gonna slip my mind, but the fact that Netflix is getting that caliber director on original content with this type of cast with a near Christmas release date, to me, looks like everything is moving along. And from the trailer, it hooked me in right away. Got anything with a parent and kids is going to pull up the heartstrings for anybody that's a parent about protecting your kids, just as A Quiet Place did. So I'm really looking forward to this one, and I'm wishing Netflix all the success that I think they deserve for pulling something off like this. It's just right in my wheelhouse of should be one of my favorite movies of the year if everything comes together.
Have you read the book?
I just checked it out from the library because I'm going to start into this. I'm like, oh, that's not too hefty of a tome to sort of breeze through over the next couple of weeks. So I'm going to check that out.
This was one I thought it was a joke. I thought this is when we were talking about it in Discord. I thought, just wouldn't it be funny if, and my head spun off in all kinds of fanciful directions about how taking away somebody's sight during an action movie would be just comical when nobody can see anything. And then it was JJ and Tommy who both read and loved this book, so I dove into it, and I have to tell you, I was a huge fan of this book. I devoured it and found it really compelling. It's told in, it breaks up the timeline of the narrative in all kinds of funny ways. So it'll be interesting to see how the movie handles effectively flashbacks, but really it's kind of three parallel times that are kind of happening all at once, and see how our characters. You got to see that in the trailer if you've read the book. You get a sense of how they play with time a little bit. But the cast, it blows me away. I mean, it's just wonderful to see John Malkovich on screen with we've got BD Wong too. I mean, it just looks great. The book, it turned me around. It's no joke. It's no joke. But next, what's the next sense to go? Taste. The next sense is taste.
Don't taste anything, or else you're going to be in trouble.
That's right. That's right. That's it. You can't taste. So I'm looking very, very, very much forward to this one, and the poster is just haunting. If you haven't seen it yet, it's Sandra Bullock and the kids with their blindfolds on. It's just it's kind of it's like a blindfolded Children of Men aesthetic. Yeah. It feels like that to me. So, looks great.
Yeah, December 21st.
When do we get it?
December 21st. So it looks like some select theaters. I never know what that means. And then Netflix. So, but this is one that, with most of the other like Netflix things, like this is one though that wouldn't be content to say, I'm just going to watch this at home. This looks like something that, immersive in the theater group experience type of stuff that's going to make this one really that much more enjoyable. So.
Yeah. That's actually, you're supposed to wear a blindfold while you actually watch the movie.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah. Anything you see can make you crazy.
All right.
Well, mine, it was a tough week for me. I ended up with, I feel like bottom of the barrel trailers. And until I ran into this Vox Lux. Vox Lux is a new Natalie Portman movie, which I think she probably landed because of her stints on SNL. I feel like
that could have built into that, yeah.
If they did the SNL Shorts version of a movie of Natalie Portman going crazy as a pop star, this is that film, and it's really interesting. You look at the movie, and it looks like a pop star, trying to find her way in the world. It's kind of a Lady Gaga style of pop star, and she's not sure how to make sense of the world. Directed by Brady Corbett directed by Brady Corbett, and written also by Brady Corbett, and it stars Natalie Portman and Jude Law, among other folks. And then you read a little bit more of the detailed synopsis, and I'm even more interested. The film begins in '99 with teenage sisters Celeste and Eleanor, who've survived a seismic violent tragedy. They compose and perform a song about their experience, making something lovely and cathartic out of catastrophe and launching their singing careers. That draws the attention of Jude Law, and who's a producer, and they become famous. Then we jump to 2017, and Celeste is 31 years old with a daughter, and we get to see another tragedy unfold and how she deals with that. So it actually ends up being kind of a story of her living with PTSD in a high pressure career. And I think that description for me makes it even more of a compelling watch, than the trailer does on its own. And the trailer is already, I think, lovely and showcases what is sure to be a wonderful Natalie Portman performance. What'd you think?
Oh, yeah, I was excited about this. And as the trailer was pulling me in, I thought, okay, who's behind this? Because I'm looking at this cast, and I thought, oh, this is a really solid cast. That's, if they're committing to this, and just looking at what the style, what the story's about, I thought, who is the talent behind this? Who's pulling this together? And then it's this guy that I've never heard of, Brady Corbett. Yeah. And then I'm like, where would I know him from? And then I look at his filmography, and I'm like, oh, wow, he's been in a lot of things I've seen, but he's just one of those guys that blends in. Martha, Marcy, May, Marlene, Melancholia, Clouds of Sils Maria, Funny Games, Force Majeure, which I have not seen yet, and I know it's on my list of things that I need to see. But yeah, just a real mix of films that are not your mainstream movies. And I thought he's worked with a lot of different directors here, so I'm really interested to see what he's learned and what he's bringing, because clearly he's been paying attention. He's been learning, because this thing looks amazing to take on an epic story like this. And the performances from Natalie Portman and Jude Law, which I'm trying to rack my brain in my sort of, 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. They've been in a couple things before, but I can't recall what it is, because I'm like, I've seen them before. They've been in stuff before. So it's nice to see them back together. And it's really, I don't know, it seems like, as you said, sort of like Natalie Portman. I get more Natalie Portman out of this than other things that I've seen her in, where it's clear she's playing characters. This one, it seems like, I don't know if it's the accent, other things, it just seems like this is a little bit more perhaps personal, of, dealing with fame, celebrity, the wanting to, yell at people when they want to take pictures of you in public, all that stuff, to let all that out. That's probably been building up, since, she's been in, front of the camera, a good chunk of her life.
Closer.
Yes, that's right. Yep. Yes. Okay.
Yep. Mike Nichols. That's the one. I am right with you. I feel like I can't believe that you caught Brady Corbett was in Force Majeure. I totally missed it, because he's like the American that's in Force Majeure, and he really sticks out. I think his character is actually called American in the movie.
According to Wikipedia, his character's name is Brady. So I don't,
Oh, he's Brady. But Force Majeure was a wonderful film. And anyway, yes, totally, we're seeing. But yeah, you're right. Man, this guy, he's got a nice catalog of movies in which he has been an actor. He's written a couple of other things that I have not seen. The Sleepwalker in 2014. That was news to me. Wow. Feels like something that should have been a trailer pick.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was a trailer pick.
I have to go back and look, but we'll see.
And he has directed, it looks like, just Protect You and Me, a short, and then The Childhood of a Leader from 2015. And that also looks like something that probably we're going to want to catch up on. It does crest the IMDb 6-star rule. So this movie is doing very well in festivals. It is the reviews on Rotten Tomatoes are very strong, and so it looks like it's one that's going to be worth checking out.
Yeah.
Now, the question is, when does it come out? And I think it's December 7th.
Oh, okay.
So it comes out just a little, December 7th in the
okay.
U.S. And where does it come out? It's, U.S. December 7th, Portugal, Netherlands, and Russia after that. We don't have any other international release dates, but be on the lookout because it looks like it's going to be fun.
Fun. Entertaining. It'll be
All right.
It'll be a ride. That's what it'll be.
Maybe you can see it in a mall.
Who goes to the mall to see movies anymore? No.
I got some mall movies.
You got some mall movies?
Yeah. No, I mean our big. Okay, I've got one. Okay, so my two favorite theaters are not technically in a mall, but the only Atmos theater in my area is actually a mall movie theater.
Okay.
You got to pass the playground.
Okay.
This was the one. Did I tell you this story? Right outside the mall of this theater, it has one of those giant swings where you get into the harness.
Oh, is this like the big bungee thing?
Go.
Yeah.
It's a big bungee thing.
Yeah.
Bungee thing. And I'm sitting there with my kids, and we're watching this, and my kids are saying, "Wow, Dad, can we go on that? Can we go on that?" And I'm saying, "No, you can't go on that." As we watch kid after kid bounce on there, and I said, "We gotta go to the movie over bungee thing." And as we're watching it, one of the mall bungee cords breaks, and the kid swings off to one side, and both my kids look over at me and say, "Let's go to the movie, Dad." No, thank you. Go mall safety regulations.
Those mall bound carnies and their sketchy rides. Yeah, exactly.
Don't trust the mall carnies. Tiny hands. Okay, so we've got a list of mall movies. This is, of course, we're talking about Dawn of the Dead that went live this week. The classic 1978 Romero zombie flick where our survivors hole up in a mall, and then the zombies come, and then the bikers come, and then it's just it's mayhem. And so we offered a couple of choices, and people chose movies set in malls. How did you do?
Just barely, because I checked in. And it was like a 6-5 on mall movies and then biker movies. Because I think, I don't know, somebody rallied the troops on the biker movies. So I was surprised. Because I looked, malls were well ahead. So I'm like, all right, I started building my list. And I looked last night. I was like, oh, geez. This was a close one.
We better hurry up and record this show.
Do we need to start making backup lists in case it's a close one on this one? I'm like, I don't. We got to stop giving them choices like this.
Totally.
Well, and then So I did sort of negotiate a deal. I sold my soul to Nick Langdon and promised and swore on Kevin Smith's beard that I would not include Mallrats in this list. And then my brother threw in there, he's like, yeah, how about scenes from Mall? I'm like, well, okay. And then somebody said, how about don't include movies that have Mall in the title at all? So now it's come from.
So then Chopping Mall is out.
So I thought, wait a second, we're giving you choices that are already restricting us. And then it's like, they've just like taken Andy's rules and like just gone crazy with it of like, okay, you can do this, but not this, or this. So it's like this really restrictive list that I agreed to. So, but I guess by doing that, I can say, well, these are the films that I came up with because you put all these restrictions on me. So no more complaining.
That's right. That's exactly right. It's not me. It's you.
Exactly. You want to put more rules? You want to really hedge us in a corner? Because, and I'll clarify this. When I come up with my list, I am counting on movies that I have seen before because I need to, for me, that's part of this of movies that I've seen and movies that I enjoy. Because to me, this whole thing is bringing up movies that maybe some of our listeners there have not heard of or seen in a long time or considered. And this is to just, give them some additional options when they're scrolling through looking for a movie. So I'm not going to just find a list of mall movies throw them out here because I'm counting on, our listeners here depending on us to bring them quality content to view. So
That quality mall content.
Well, yeah, I think so. So I'm going to preface this by saying my movies have scenes which I feel are pretty significant to the movie that take place in the mall, but the entire movie is not set in the mall because A, there aren't that many movies, and then when people start saying you can't have this and this,
Yes.
then I'm like,
Then you're hosed.
then I'm host. But I can say
Yeah.
my first pick is set in has a scene that's set in a mall, and some people consider it a zombie movie.
Some people? Who are those people, Steve?
Me.
You're those people. Okay. Outstanding.
It sort of falls into the zombie-esque, because
Do tell.
So I'm talking about Night of the Comet.
Night of the Comet.
Yes, I love that movie.
Steve.
It fits right in because you've got a comet that comes by, raining down whatever particles that turn people into like flesh-eating creatures, which they're not the mindless zombies, but they are flesh eaters. So for me, that's close enough to zombie, and then I got them all. So I thought I'm bridging the gap with this one.
You are bridging the gap. Can I tell you? I don't even know that I've seen Night of the Comet.
It's from like 1985. Where were you? Like, come on, that's like prime cable TV. This is where these B movies got thrown onto HBO or Showtime, and they were on like 5 times a day. Yeah.
No, this seems like it's something I would have probably worshipped at that time in my life. 2 Valley girls fighting against cannibal zombies and a sinister group of scientists.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, I'd be all in on that. And it's a 6.4 on the IMDb 6-star rating scale.
Tell you what, you were looking for something, your kids will appreciate it. Because
kids will appreciate it.
They enjoyed it. I think the story holds up. Yes, it's dated. It feels dated. Certain things, but there are other things that just hold up really well. And the other thing that was a thrill for us as we were watching, because I remember, I think when I first started watching Star Trek Voyager, I was like, wait, this Chakotay guy looks familiar. Oh yeah,
he was in Night
of the Comet. So when we were watching it a few weeks ago, I said to my daughter, I said, pay attention. You're going to recognize this character that comes on in a couple of minutes. She's like, okay, yeah, whatever. And then a big grin. She's like, oh my gosh, is that Chakotay? He's such a baby in this movie.
That's awesome.
Yes.
All right. It's on the list.
There we go.
Night of the Comet.
All right.
My first pick, I chose this pick because this is another pick that really cements into canon that malls are the Alamo for surviving groups of rampaging things.
Oh, okay.
Right?
All right.
Yes. And so I present to you a movie that is better than its title would suggest.
Okay.
Though maybe not by much. And that movie is 2002's David Arquette vehicle,
Yes.
8-Legged Freaks.
Yes.
Yes. Thankfully, there is a mall to which you can seal and protect yourselves from the hordes of gigantic, chemically altered venomous spiders. David Arquette is in this movie. Carrie Wurr is in this movie. Love Carrie Wurr. And how did she end up in this movie? How'd she end up in a lot of movies that she's in? But I think she's really delightful.
Okay, so Wikipedia also says you're forgetting somebody really important that was in this movie. Scarlett Johansson was apparently in 8-Legged Freaks as well. So I may need to watch this again. I remember watching it when it first came out. I think I rented it, and it was a lot of fun. It was, it's silly and fun, but to me, it's the perfect time of year for something like this. And to see young Scarlett Johansson fighting giant spiders, I may just have to check this one out again.
True. That's absolutely true. It's a funny movie, and the faces that show up beyond just David Arquette and Carrie Wurr and Scarlett Johansson. Dougie Doug is in this movie, and I mean, you see Dougie Doug like with a crossbow.
Oh my!
he's a funny dude, and I miss Dougie Doug. I feel like I just don't get enough Dougie Doug in my life. And he's still out there doing
Is
it.
he?
You know what I mean?
Because I was wondering, I was looking at this
working.
cast saying, you don't hear much about many of these people anymore. So
Yeah, no. So he's got some things going on, and so I think this is a fun throwback movie, 2002, Eight-Legged Freaks.
Okay.
I actually, it's funny because I had been. This is one of those I think Andy gave me a lot of trouble on because it took me forever to see it.
Oh.
I only saw it just like 2 years
Oh,
ago,
really?
maybe 2 years ago, a
Okay.
year ago, something like that. So I had skipped it completely. But yeah, it's again better than the title would indicate.
Okay. All right. So my second.
All right, what's your next one?
My next one. This is a film that, unfortunately for me, the trailers ruined this one. And I mean, this was back in the 90s, and I was still very much into watching trailers, but this is one where saw the trailer, sort of ruined a big reveal in this movie, and that's this scene that takes place in this mall. And I'm talking about Terminator 2, because I had a friend that had not seen any trailers for this, and so we've got John Connor in the mall, and we've got two Terminators coming at him, and she had not seen any of the trailers, which had seen, showing Arnold Schwarzenegger, I promise not to hurt anybody. So she's on edge of her seat, like, what is going on? There's these two guys, and then when Arnold says, get down or whatever, she's like, oh, he's the good one. And I thought, oh my gosh, what a way to experience this movie. But I'm picking Terminator 2 because of that scene, because it is sort of the critical reveal of who's the Terminator out to kill John Connor, who's the one that's out to save him. Just a great suspenseful moment if you haven't seen the movie before and haven't seen the trailer. So that's where I'm going with Terminator 2.
Terminator 2. That's a good one. It falls in the Andy Nelson you can't talk about that movie on Saturdays category.
But I don't care. He's not here, so
he's not.
I got so many other rules I'm dealing with. I got to do something.
There are only so many rules one can handle. But and that actually, one of the key movies that I really wanted to talk about, but I can't, is this great bank movie. It was another speakeasy. What was it? Silent Partner. The whole Silent Partner takes place in a mall bank, and it was great. We had a great time.
Okay.
Anyway.
Oh, I guess I could say
Christopher Plummer in a dress.
See, I didn't talk about Terminator 2, so I can include it. See, if I had talked about,
did you talk about is Silent Partner one of your picks? Because if it's not, it should be.
No, because I haven't seen it.
I'm not allowed to. Oh, you're right. Another rule.
Yeah. See, I had to have seen it and not talked about it on the show. So
these are the worst.
Yeah.
Rules. Speaking of the worst, I got one that's the worst.
The worst.
Here's a movie that is the worst.
Okay.
It is 2003. Billy Bob Thornton as a drunk, foul-mouthed, bad Santa. And this is another movie that, for some reason, I skipped for many, many years. It took me way too long to see this movie.
I still haven't seen it. Do I need to see
really?
this? Do I really need to see
totally.
this? Okay.
Totally need to see this movie.
Right.
You totally need to see this movie. There's nothing... Okay. There is very little redeeming about anybody in these movies. and that is that can be enormously satisfying. So I would just know going into it that that's what you're going to get. But I'm telling you, Billy Bob Thornton and Tony Cox are amazing together in this movie, and super fun. Lauren Graham is in it, who's delightful. Bernie Mac, Bernie Mac. Anyway, this was a really fun movie. Oh my goodness, John Ritter was in this movie. I'd even forgotten that. My heart bleeds for this movie. Anyway, it was really fun and funny, and I'm telling you, you get a good sense of the tone by watching a couple of YouTube clips, but seeing it all together, it's an overwhelming amount of comedy, bad people.
All right.
So,
because as I was looking for to sort of round out my list, I was looking, and that one came up, and I thought, well, I haven't seen it, and that was one where I'm just like, do I really need to? Is there something to be gained from watching this movie? And apparently there is. All right.
There is.
All right.
There is.
I will.
It's man versus man. It's man versus self, right? He's trying to come to terms with a massive influence in his life, and how he how he relates to the changes that he's feeling inside of him. And it's great to watch. I just think Billy Bob Thornton does a terrific job at this movie. Now, I am an unabashed Billy Bob Thornton fan. I even like that John Cusack Billy Bob Thornton movie where they played air traffic controllers.
Oh, yes.
You remember?
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yes.
I loved that movie. I loved that. I can't even think of the name of it right now, but I loved that.
Was Pushing Tin. Yes.
I loved that movie. When they go lie down under the jet wash and they get thrown 80 feet in the air. It is fantastic. So, if you don't like Billy Bob Thornton, maybe this is not the movie for you, but I'm a big fan and I think he's great. So there you go. Bad Santa.
All right.
2003. What's your next one?
Whew, okay, I got through that unscathed because my final pick. I said this is the one, and my wife agreed, and she said, "Well, you got to do that one first because Pete's going to steal it." And I said, "No, I don't think he's going to steal it." She said, "If he steals this, you have to tell him that I warned you, and that you have to." You have to let him know that she told me to do it first because she thought it was going to get stolen, and so far it has not. And I'm proud to say that this is my top movie with scenes in a mall. I feel like you were about to steal mine. Oh, I don't know.
No, you're building it up so much.
Well,
that I feel
it's probably not because I don't know how. This is a regional thing, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. So prior to getting into the mall, the line of dialogue that occurs, "You got us into this parking lot, pal. Now you get us out. You want out of this parking lot? Okay." Know what I'm talking about?
I don't. That doesn't ring a bell.
No, the new Oldsmobiles are in early this year. Yeah. Joliet, Jake, and Elwood Blues. The Blues Brothers.
Come on, Blues Brothers. They destroy the mall.
Oh, they destroy the mall. See, I grew up in the north suburbs of Chicago, so when you have a movie like this that is just all over the city and just wrecking everything, as a kid, you watch this a lot. And for me, the number of cars that they destroy in the movie is insane. The number of cars that are actually driving through the mall. And watching this clip again, I am surprised at, there are cars just cruising through this mall, and there are pedestrians who I'm assuming is a large stunt crew that are like leaping out of the way. As the scene ends, as they're exiting through, they crash through. It looks like part of a grocery store, and there's two people like in the cereal aisle there. And as one of the guys rushes to get out of the way as the car comes through, he actually runs straight into the camera, and then it cuts to like exterior shot. So I am amazed that nobody was killed with the scene, because as you watch, it's just amazing how close these cars are coming to these people, and the cars are moving at a significant rate of speed through this mall.
Yeah,
so
right.
That's my number one, because it doesn't get any better than Jake and Elwood tearing up the mall.
That is a great pick. Just a great pick. And you know what? I can't believe I'm a little bit ashamed that I didn't pick it, but only a little bit, because my final pick gives me such delight. Not only delight because it's an amazing movie, but also that you didn't pick it. And that is 1985's Jackie Chan Police Story.
I haven't seen it. I know. That was one that came up a lot, and I was like, I have not seen that one.
I can't tell you how much I love this movie. It is, it's great. It is, the great big set piece at the end when Jackie Chan is fighting the goons, and he's trying to protect the young Maggie Chung, and I mean, it's just an amazing experience watching him do what he does, especially if you're not. I wish that I could go back and watch this movie not knowing what I know about Jackie Chan. Because he is a straight up superhero in this movie. The things he does with his body, the hits that he takes, the falls that he executes, it is a stunning force on screen. We've actually talked about some Maggie Chung movies. She's this was, I think, her fifth feature. We talked about her in Hero and In the Mood for Love. And she's fantastic. It's great to see her. I think she looks about 13 in this movie. She wasn't, but she looks very, very young. This was really fun to see all these people on screen. It was just terrific. And this is one of those movies, I think, that because of the nature of the movie, and because, I don't know, you kind of know the story. Even if you haven't seen the movie, you already know the story. Right? So this is one that I feel like you should go, see the whole movie, but you could safely go watch this sequence and just be amazed because you know about Jackie Chan.
Okay.
You could watch this, the stunt sequence in on YouTube or something and get enough out of it to know that you have to see the rest of this movie. He's just fantastic. So there you go.
Okay.
Police Story. I can't believe you haven't seen it, but I'm very excited.
Okay.
That's,
well, you've got 2
on your list.
I'm 2 out of 3 on your list there. That 2 out of 3 that I got to see here. So giving me something to do over the holidays.
That's
I
right.
guess. Yeah.
That's right. And that's great. I'm only got to 1 out of 3 that I need to see for you. I feel pretty good about that. There you go. So now we're on to our next movie, and that is Day of the Dead. Oh dear, I have done no thinking about Day of the Dead yet. What are we going to talk about with Day of the Dead? It's another zombie movie. Here we are.
Well, that's you did that to us. But it's they're all different, right? They're all different because there's different places, there's different topics that are sort of being taken on. Because this one was about consumerism in the mall. This one, it's been a while. It's been a long time since I've seen this one as well.
So do you remember where they are? Because the location is the biggest standout thing for me. It's that they're in the bunker underground.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Right. Which is amazing. And the Wampum Underground Industrial Complex, which you can go rent office space in now to this very day. Yeah. And so it's really cool. And link is in the show notes for the show that goes this week. And so it makes me want to move there because I want a bunker office. Great for podcasting.
Yes.
It is the scientist versus the military.
Right.
Joe Pilato plays Rhodes, who is this insane captain of the little military unit, and he is just completely off his rocker. So we have the nutso military captain. I feel like we also tried to talk about that. That was on our list, the maniacal military leader in one of the Planet of the Apes movies that maybe wasn't selected. So that could be there. We have a terrible downer movie with a happy ending.
We have a happy ending to this one. So now what?
Yeah, they get away and they live on a beach.
The scientists are trying to, because there's the whole military and science thing. Because what the scientists are trying to
they're trying to find humanity,
right, within the
zombies, and it's so stupid,
right?
Oh, we also have the stereotype within a stereotype of the scientist, like the main scientist that they call Dr. Frankenstein, which is a non-ironic title for him. Like Richard Liberty plays Logan, and he is a nut. And so the stereotypical nutso scientist, science over all else, might be an interesting character. I mean, that's the extreme. We have the scientist craziness, and we have the military craziness for Rhodes, and it makes it not as
So
I was less into this movie.
So we could say what? Scientists blinded by science?
Blinded by science movies. That's
go.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah. Blinded by science movies. You blinded me with science.
Yes. And then we have what, the unexpected happy ending? Is that what you would call it?
The unexpected happy ending. I am worried about that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have movies there. I sure hope Andy's back next week.
Yeah, you never saw Macbeth with the happy ending version?
The one where she was just locked in her car.
Yeah.
Let's see. Unexpected happy ending, blinded by science movies, and
what, underground bunkers?
Oh,
right,
underground bunker movies.
Yeah,
I think that has to be on.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Underground bunker movies. Good. I got it.
Okay.
I'm set.
Ooh,
I feel like we've got a nice set of 3 movies, and guaranteed one that everybody's going to pick. I just know that they're going to do that to us,
and then they'll start throwing rules at us.
Our fault. That's right.
Underground bunker
and
movies.
Here's how you have to do it.
Underground bunker movies where the bunker is not made out of concrete.
That's right.
Thanks, guys.
In this case, it's all limestone.
Yeah.
And here's another thing: movies where principal characters keep throwing trash on the floor.
Yeah.
That happens in this movie more than anything else. Probably more than any zombie thing. She keeps taking aspirin out of this little first aid kit
and just
throws the trash on the floor. Who's picking up that trash? Because it's never there the next time she does it. It's never there.
The trained zombies are, the custodial.
Bub is a custodian.
Yes.
This movie. All right. I think this is great. I think this is a fine set of movies for everybody to get ready for. And thanks everybody for downloading and listening to this, because that means that you're a supporter of the show, and we just we love doing that with the supporters of this show and every show that we do on the next reel. We've got we've got a good holiday season coming up, some good movies coming out. I'm looking forward to getting back to the theater.
Oh yes.
That's it, everybody. Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Hondo.